She needs to know how to get people up. I know too many. I know way too many rapes, too many molestation cases. That's just
Well, you know, molestation comes from people you know.
yeah, yeah. But it's still like all that, all too many of those. It's just rape and molestation in the same group. Just yeah, I'm quiet. I'm sorry.
Good evening. Welcome to Open. You're funny. Good evening. Welcome to Open Wide with me on WMSK Online Radio, the home of the Cheryl Underwood Morning Show. We come to you every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. Make sure you're downloading the app, following us on YouTube, and just checking us out. So tonight we're going to have a special guest. We're going to talk about all things that people are talking about. And we're going to talk about something for the artists, for the people who want to have their voices heard, for people who just have a knack for the stage. This is going to be your opportunity. Hey, April, how are you? So a few of the housekeeping things. Focus movers, affordable moving rates, fast and reliable service, free moving quotes, commercial and residential, local and long distance, last second and emergency moves. Is locally owned and operated and 24-hour call center. Call today, 443-506-7905, or book online, focus-movers.com. Focus Movers, 443-506-7905. State vs. Us magazine is your official source to the streets from prison, highlighting high-profile cases, corruptions in the police department, the government, the prison system, wrongful convictions, and success stories of the formerly incarcerated. If you or someone you know have a story to tell, want a feature or ad space, please email stateversusmag@gmail.com. Get your print or digital copy today at statevsurusmag.com. WMSK Online Radio is looking for jazz, gospel, entertainment, fashion, Latin, Caribbean, community, and other type of shows. If you or someone you know are interested, please send us an email to WMSKonlineradio@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. We are the leader in talk radio. Last but not least, make sure you're visiting www.wmskonlineradio.com. Join our mailing list for updates, events, shows, and more. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at WMSK Online Radio. So again, welcome to the Open Wide with Neeuq show. We have Ali in the building. Yes, please. You have to speak up. The sexy voice doesn't work on radio.
I'm trying to be sexy. That was just me. Sorry. What's going on? Ali goes so hard.
All right, so Ali, how can they follow you? How can they follow, the Black Box?
Well, you can follow me on
Hey, Miss Ali.
You can follow me on Facebook. It's OLLIEVOSO. That again is OLLIEVOSO. That's pretty much all my social media. You can find my Facebook. Beard of Gold. Just go to Facebook, type in Beard of Gold, you'll get the Facebook page. Garcia Black Box is the same thing. Garcia's Black Box. You can look that up on Facebook too. We have a page. It's starting out, so don't hate on it. Yeah.
Okay, so Garcia's Black Box. Where usually are they hosted?
Well, right now we doing them at 401 North College Street, the downtown cultural arts center. I think it was the old UD Blake Center. But it's 401 North College Street. That's where we at right now. We have shows. Our next show is Thursday, June 6th. And the next one after that is another Thursday in July 18th. And we're still working on more dates.
Okay, so when you talk about shows, what exactly are you talking about?
So the Garcia Black Box is Robert Garcia. It's me. It's Earl. I don't want to give their last name. Earl, Ebony, Jessica, Keon, Gabby. I say Jessica. And I think Adrian. So those are right now the most consistent people. And I do rap and sing a little bit. Ebony does, and all of us do acting. Ebony sings. Kenyon does acting. Earl might do some other stuff, but Earl does acting. And it's based, and Jessica does acting. Everybody else does acting. And right now, it's basically a variety show. And we're kind of this first one in June is about love. It's just anything centered around love. It could be angry love, beautiful love, whatever love, whatever way you want to present it. And it's basically just a variety show that we're doing, and we're just gonna. This will be our third show, so we're just getting our feet wet, trying to figure out what we are.
Okay, so Garcia's Black Box is held at the Downtown Cultural Arts Center because Ali, hey Joe.
Oh, I'm not speaking loud enough still.
No,
Oh, okay.
he's shy, y'all. So.
Oh no, that's all right.
Hey, Rodney.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, so he's shy. So basically, Garcia's Black Box, it is a plethora of things. So Mr. Garcia, he's been doing some great things to have people to, yes, please speak up.
Okay, am I getting yelled at?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sorry.
So basically, Mr. Garcia is giving people the platform to come out and showcase their artistic talent, whatever it may be. If you want to do monologues, if you want to sing, you want to rap, this is basically a platform for you to be able to do so, for you to get comfortable with whatever your artistry is, for you to come out and just try it, find out if it's fitting for you. So I invited Ali today to talk about different things that Mr. Garcia is doing. I think it's a very good program, especially for those who are involved in the arts. Is there a age range at all?
No age range. So you can be however old you want to be. Okay, so yeah, whatever age you want to be, it doesn't matter. Just come with just let us know what you want to do, and we'll work with it.
Okay, so what's the contact information? Or Facebook?
Facebook right now would be the easiest way to get any of us, because the only way I really contact them is phone number, so I'm not just going to scream out everybody's phone number. So the easiest way would be to just follow Garcia's Black Box on Facebook, or you can follow me, contact me, and yeah, and I would also on any social media platform, and we'll work from there.
Okay, so
is that loud enough? That's louder. Should I project a little bit more? Speak from my stomach.
Yes. Bring it up a little bit. Just pretend.
Just a little bit more. Like, is that good right there?
Yes.
I feel like I'm yelling right now. Like right now, I feel like I'm yelling. That's why she called me shy. I don't know how.
So, if anyone has a knack for entertainment in any kind of way, this is definitely a way to have your talent seen. So Wesley is not in the building today. He had a little family emergency. Aisha had work obligations. I don't know where Shooter is. He's probably speeding along Eastern Avenue somewhere. So Ali is just going to be thrown out there, and we're going to see how well he can act. Exactly. So when we were offline, we were talking about these new abortion laws. That seems to be a very hot topic. Ali has an interesting point of view, which I can't really argue with or disagree with. So recently, there have been a lot of laws that are basically banning abortions, meaning taking away a person's choice to having an abortion. I know that one of the hot arguments right now is if a woman and a man get into this situation and the man decides he doesn't want the child. He can't tell the woman, "Oh, go get an abortion because I don't want to be a father."
He can, but she don't want to listen.
Exactly. So I mean, yeah, So she doesn't want to get the abortion, which basically, in essence, forces him to be a father, right? And if once the child is here, he doesn't want to participate, there are a whole lot of other things and other implications that come with that, such as child support, this nagging person following you around, and all that kind of stuff.
We didn't talk about this, but when you bring up the child support, it's not funny, but I don't know how true it is, but I believe the girls that were saying it because they were kind of living off of this like that. Legit, they didn't have that. You never had to have sex with them, All they had to do was get your social security number. They could take you down to the court and file you at least for 6 months. You pay child support before you even get in there and tell them you don't, that's not even your child. I don't know how true it is, but the girls that were
I've
saying
definitely
it,
never heard that.
the girls that were saying it, I don't think they was lying because that's how they was living.
Wow. So, well, I will say this. I can go to the police department right now and say, Ollie smacked me. They'll either put a warrant out for your arrest or you'll get a summons to come in and defend yourself. And I'm just meeting you right now.
Yeah.
So
y'all know if that happens, it's a lie. Put it out there right now.
Right, but that's how the system is set up. People can make all types of allegations, and accusations, and it doesn't have to have any truth behind it. But if I say it, you have to go there and defend yourself.
And don't hold me to the fire for that one. I'm not saying it's true. I'm just saying I believe the 4 or 5 girls that was telling me about it.
I think it probably would work because other than if they don't have that affidavit of parentage.
Yeah, what else do you really need? Once you got a social security number, you kind of have who you. I have you. Mm-hmm. It was like boom. Because when I had my daughter, there was really no process.
But can a guy get his money back? I don't know if he gets his money back from child support.
I don't know. I have no idea. I would assume case by case situation. That's what I would say. Because how the child support system works, from what I understand, whoever has the child the most is the one that gets custody, and then the other parent has to pay child support. Well, it doesn't have to. If you take them down, then that's how it goes, and then just allocate them out based on what you make.
Well, they can't go above 30% of your income. Child support is a really hot topic.
I don't know.
They can't go over 30% of your income. Well, he probably had a decent income.
No, he does. He did. He does. But that was more than 30%. If he was bringing home 15, a thousand of it each time was going to child support. He had one child. So I don't know how.
Yeah, it's not supposed to exceed 30%, but the poorer that the other parent is, the more they're going to
I don't know the whole. I just know a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not supposed to go over 30% of your income. But that's a really hot topic because women see it one way, men see it another. Mm-hmm. So we can argue about child support all day.
I don't want to argue about it because I don't want to be on it.
Well, you better treat that girlfriend right.
Girlfriend, wife.
Listen, wife. He act up, child support.
Nah. I love both of them.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So, going back to the topic at hand, mm-hmm. So if I choose not to have the abortion, I'm forcing him to be a father. That's one side of the argument. So then they're now saying, okay, if that's the case, and she can force him to be a father, why can't the state or the government force her to be a mother? And, just ban the abortions. I think that in some circumstances, because let's just understand this. When you're two consenting adults, I do not ever think that it's okay for you to use abortion as a form of birth control, because we both should have been responsible enough to know what happens after we have unprotected sex.
Yeah, I mean, we all love ODB though. I like it raw, so I get it. Two consenting adults should, but that was the fact.
So, I understand that, but we know what happens next. So if your pull-out game is weak and I get pregnant because you like it raw, we knew the possibilities. Because, and what I really don't understand is what if it's not a baby that comes along? What if it's HIV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, herpes? The infection rate now, we talked about HIV a little bit a couple of weeks ago, mm-hmm. But the rate at which African Americans continue to be infected with HIV is high, is astronomical, right? So we're talking about babies. That's like the least of your worries.
Well, I know it should be, but it definitely should be. It's low on the list. You definitely run a higher risk of catching an STD than you do catching a baby. So.
You don't So is that associated to the pull-out game in any kind of way?
I don't know, because my pull-out game was good for 30-some years until 30 years, 33. Yeah. So 32 years and 12. Yeah, it's like, that old. No, I'm sorry. I'm legit joking, though. Right. But, my pull-out game was good for as long as I wanted to work, my pull-out game was good. Okay. So, but I mean, I'm not saying that. I would never say live by that creed. No, don't live by that creed. Live by the common creed. Because you don't want to be at, and don't be scared to go to 15-15. Like, legit, don't be scared to get yourself checked out.
I think before we get to the point where we're having unprotected sex, one of the other things is that we talk about a lot is that we don't communicate enough in these relationships. We don't talk about, people find it uncomfortable. When was the last time you got tested? How many partners do you have? So we don't have the necessary conversation before we get to the point where I'm trying to feel what it's like to be raw.
Well, I don't think that, it might be, we're not a person on this.
You say whatever you want.
Okay, I didn't want to, get crazy. I didn't want to be right. But, man, what was you saying?
Communication.
Yeah, so one part is, I think, because I never had an issue asking. It depends on who you around, who you raised by. Because some dudes that I know, some people I know, they don't ask the number, don't worry about it, because and that's an ego thing.
Yeah, I don't think you should ask me what's my body count. You shouldn't be asking me that, but you should be asking me, how regularly do you go to the doctor? When was the last time you've been tested? How many people are you sleeping with right now?
That's why I tell people, that's why I'm telling people, it's okay to go to 15-15. Like, if you want to be out there and doing your thing, because I was out there for a minute doing my thing, and every 2-3 months, I would just go to 15-15. Just to be like, make sure we good. Right. And with me and my wife, before we even crossed that bridge, we both went and got tested together. So
that's what's up. And people aren't doing that, but that should probably be your first date, especially if
you try, if you know you try, with the person, then cool. But if you not,
no, but I
if you know if y'all gonna fuck, then of course, and you know you want to go raw, then yeah, make that your first date. But I mean, I don't think if you don't know the person, your first date should probably be like a library or something. I don't know, eating cheese curls on the fuck. I don't know, talking. Instead of worrying about
fucking. Okay, all right. So I would be surprised if you got to the second date or anything with having sex. I mean, if you took me to the park and eating cheese curls, I don't think you would make it.
How do you know? My conversation is good. Oh, well, if my conversation is good, let me say that. I feel like I'm being interviewed twice right here. I gotta show up and they talk right to the camera.
So Damon is saying there's no compromise in relationship these days, and I'm glad that he made that point.
I would say no, because my relationship is nothing but compromise. Like, I'm not perfect, my wife ain't perfect, but we working on it because we both are works in progress. And if all you're thinking about is how bad it can be, then all it's going to be is bad. But if you're not, what I had to realize, and women have this already, women kind of know, and that's just, it is what it is. But what I had to realize is you're never going to get perfection unless you work on it. Mm-hmm. And if you want the perfect woman, the woman that's going to suck your dick right, fuck you right, she cook for you, clean up at whatever perfection you're looking for, and whatever you perceive perfection as, you're not going to find that in that girl unless you take the time to work with her. And y'all have to work with each other. If it's just you working or just her working, then it's not work. Somebody's being a slave. So y'all need to be working together. And as much, this isn't like we legit not in the 1950s no more. Like, women can work, they can't do every single thing a man can do because it's physical. Certain aspects is not what it is. It is what it is on that. But I don't think we should be looking at this is a woman's job type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
meaning holding a relationship together.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's not gender. I don't want to say gender Jenner, the dude that sex changes. But in some situations, it's okay for the woman to make more money than the man. That's not.
In some?
Yeah, I think we get it.
I think in all situations.
I say in some. If
Why?
Because it depends on the person. Each situation depends on the person. Can the man have enough? Can the man have enough? I don't know what the word is, but just to knock his ego back and actually be like, yeah, you're my girl.
That's not the woman's fault. That's definitely something
no,
he
it's
has to
not.
deal with.
Yeah,
This show is full of girl power, so.
Cool, and that's cool. Dude, I got a, I got a daughter, so I gotta like understand girl power and be rapping for it because,
right.
My first is a girl. So, but if a woman makes more, I'll say this: you and your partner should not have too many people inside your relationship because what's working for you two works for you two. It doesn't matter with anybody else, because then you'll have people that's like, oh, a man supposed to be the breadwinner. Not necessarily when you got women who are more educated than black women who are more educated than almost anybody in America.
Exactly.
So my wife has a master's degree. Granted, I make more money than her, but she has the potential to make way more money than me. She just is in the field that she wants to be in, and that's just what the circumstances are. But if she made more money, I've been with women that made more money than me. And
all right, so how did that make you feel? This man ego you were talking about.
When they was making more money than me, I was 20, they was 30. So it's like, you should make more money than me. You've been in the workforce longer than me by 10 years. If I'm making more money than you 10 years younger, then you doing something wrong. And not even that's on a lot of levels. That's with dudes and whatever. Because you got to graduate.
I mean, everybody doesn't have the potential to be.
They don't, but, and this is general. I'm not speaking because every situation you're going to have, your anomalies and shit like that. But in general, I would expect somebody 30, 40 years old to make more money than someone 20. That's what I would just assume. But you got people at 20 years old who multi-millionaires. So you've had all that kind of stuff. But I forget exactly what we're going with that. So
it don't matter. But since you're on profession, the oldest profession in the book,
prostitution.
Okay. So tell me how you relate that to the abortion topic. I thought it was interesting.
You should never let nobody should be able to tell you what to do with your body. And how we were talking about it, nobody will stop you from getting a tattoo. You can't so I put that on the tattoos, nose rings, if you want to get your hair dyed, if you want to get your ears done, you want to get the little, the gauges and make your ear bigger or put the gauge in your nose. That's all in the same bracket because it's your body. You're putting yourself through that, I guess, quote unquote, stress. So it's nobody's business. But now, if you're a kid, it's something totally different. But once you become an adult, consenting adult, and if you want to say that age is 16, 15, 20, whatever age you
want. Hold up.
Consenting because 16 is consent for sex in a lot of states? Yes. Something like that? So that's where I'm basing it off.
However, even if my 16-year-old consents to sex with anybody.
Well, that's why I said that's something totally different.
When it comes time for the baby to be here, they're still looking at that 16-year-old as a minor.
Which I don't understand all of it. Because if you're going to say, and I get it, but then I don't get it. Because if she's old enough to have consensual sex, and she's old enough to understand the repercussions that come with it. And she should be, I'm not saying she'd be charged as an adult, but you put yourself into an adult situation now.
Okay.
If you're right now.
The next thing I'm at.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm getting interviewed.
Yes.
Robert Garcia, Black Box. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Garcia, Black Box.
Definitely. So Damon is saying that child support is a big problem these days, and we talked about that a little bit earlier. And it's a big problem for a lot of different reasons. They're using it as a system to really kind of harm families. So for a parent who is not doing what they should be doing to care for a child, no matter what the circumstances are, I agree you should have to pay. But going back to the abortion thing, if it's your choice to have this baby, even though this man is saying he doesn't want it, no matter how irresponsible both of you are, he told you he doesn't want it. Mind you, the baby is already here at this point. Whether or not they should make him pay child support, I don't know. I'm just on a fence with that.
I would say because we're going to go with if
should have taken all the precautions way before he got to that point.
He should have. Because you know, so you got not. You have. So one of my biggest things is, and people want to, my friends are gonna do what say whatever how they feel, but how I feel is there's no such thing as an accident baby. Like you had 9 months to figure out what you wanted to do, even if you didn't find out till late, like you still had time to figure out. Like an accident is stuffing your toe or crashing your car. Oh shit, I made the wrong left turn. My bad. That type of thing. That's a mistake. Getting pregnant, I don't think you may not have wanted to get pregnant. Okay, cool, but having a baby is not a mistake. Like you had time to figure it out. Now you might have certain circumstances where you don't know you're pregnant for 9 months or 8 months, whatever. I kind of get that one, but as a general thing, not many people are just saying, "Oh, I didn't know I was pregnant." Okay, sure. So it's like,
so basically, Ali was making the point that he's looking at this pro-abortion or pro-choice issue as the same as prostitution. You should be able to do with your body what you want to. So nobody should be able to ban your choice or stop you from making your choice. Because if I wanted to go out here and sell my little butt or collect $40 or whatever, I should be able to do so and it not be illegal. So that's the point that he made, which, I was looking at it like, but that's a very valid point. It really is. But more so, even though you should be using abortion as a form of birth control, there are other extenuating circumstances, like the lady who gets raped, or the kid who gets raped, or whatever, or they do a lot of genetic testing. They look for different things that's going to be indicators that something's going to be wrong with the baby.
Something like that. Like,
Trisomy 13, Down syndrome, all of those genetic things, those genetic disabilities. They test for those. So if I say, oh, I don't want to move forward, they do elective surgeries to remove it. So I wonder how that is going to be impacted. Like, will I have the choice then? Because a lot of times you're well beyond that 8 weeks when they're finding that out. It's like the 12-week time.
Is it? I'm trying to think of when, because we had our daughter last year. I'm trying to think of what the process was, and we found out a lot of stuff way earlier than I was expecting. But we also found out that we were pregnant maybe like 3 weeks in.
Oh.
So it's not like we were surprised. Well, it's not like it took a long time for us to find out. We kind of found out maybe we might have been like a month, no more than a month pregnant. So, and I'm trying to remember. I know we found the sex way earlier than I was expecting. If she was, it might have been like legit might have been around the second doctor's appointment that we found out that what the gender was.
So because science is so advanced, you can have a blood test that tells you the sex of the baby very early on. Most insurance doesn't pay for it. Like most insurance doesn't pay for those genetic testing to find out, like it's like 150 things to test for. They'll do a simple panel of the trisomy 13, I think 21, and the Down syndrome, but they're not testing for all of the other things that could possibly go wrong with the pregnancy genetically. So, unless you have money to pay for it, you kind of get what you get in the end. So, but at 20 weeks, I don't know, because I haven't been pregnant in a long, long time. But
I've never been pregnant. So.
That's good. I'm glad. I mean, they have in science now that you could carry the baby.
Keep all that.
I don't know where it's going to come from, but.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's why they keep all that.
Exactly.
Like a bad old.
Yes, let you share some of the burden,
I'm already.
So, what was I saying?
You've never been pregnant.
I haven't been pregnant in a long time, right? But a lot of times you're finding out that you're pregnant around the 6 to 8 week mark, right? Then 12 weeks you're coming in for that second appointment, you're getting all the little initial tests and all of that other kind of stuff. By 20 weeks, you're getting that big giant test that's going to tell you everything. You know, you need to know, you can find out the sex of your baby. You know, you can find out a lot of things, whether it's growing one leg long, one leg short. They have a lot that they can tell at that 20-week time because you're halfway through at that point. And babies can live on their own. It's a little iffy at the 24-week mark, but they have had successful little babies that were born at 24 weeks. Yeah.
I want to say when, I don't know how many weeks she was early, but she was definitely early. I'm not gonna put her name on it, but one of my nieces was early. I just can't remember how early she was. I definitely remember her having to be in the incubator for about the first month or something like that.
Yeah. So, you know, science is getting to be really good. You know, so if they can have a baby survive and just be a 24-weeker, that's good.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Like they're almost just like raising it on the outside of the womb. So science is great. So I can see where they're trying to ban these abortions where you're 16 weeks, you're 20 weeks, you know, you had way too far along at that point. That initial appointment, you should know what it is that you're going to do. That's 6 to 8 weeks. You should know.
This is coming from the male. I don't know. So I don't know what it's, you know, like I said, jokingly, but seriously, I don't know what it's like to be pregnant. I don't know what it's like to have half of what I'm putting into myself and go into somebody else and living inside. I don't know what it's like to have something living inside of me. You know what I'm saying? So I don't ever want to. I had the thought. It left me. I don't. A woman. What was the last thing you said?
6 to 8 weeks, you should know your decision by the time you get to that first
Okay, so yeah, I wouldn't tell somebody to know because some women don't want to be pregnant, but then they're pregnant the whole time and they just like, I don't want this baby, I don't want this baby, and then when they push the baby out, they want the baby. You know what I'm saying? So I can't. It's hard to judge when just from being around my wife when she was pregnant, around my cousins when they were pregnant, and my cousin's baby mother when they was pregnant. They're not always thinking straight. They're emotional wrecks. Not like being like, oh, because you're a woman. No, you got a baby in you. Like it's crazy. All your shit is probably off kilter. So I don't. That's why I say you should just leave it alone.
Right.
Because like you don't know what that person is going through mentally and physically and how they're feeling. There was times my wife was like, oh, you're not going to be pregnant ever again. But then after about 6 months of being around our daughter and stuff like that, she's like, yeah, we can do another one. I can manage that. So it's like, who?
Right. You know but once it gets to be, because I think there's actually a fetal heartbeat at 25 days. Okay. That's really early. Yeah. Right? That's not even 4 weeks in. However, once you get to be 12 weeks and you're seeing like really like real development, to me that's problematic. If you're going to continue to go on and then you decide, hey, Mr. Hicks, hey, baby, and you decide that, oh, it's time to end it or whatever, because maybe we didn't work out. So I'm like, okay, 20 weeks, I'm gonna kill this baby. I don't want it. I don't want to go through that. I don't agree with that. I think there should definitely be a limit somewhere in there. Because then when does abortion turn to murder? That's not an old argument.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, that's not a new argument. That's a very old argument.
And I get that, but then I'm also still like, I really feel like it's up to the woman. Because it's like, what can she live with that?
Banning it completely and actually criminalizing it is a problem.
Yeah, they shouldn't do that.
Like, you going to put me in jail because I decided that I was going to get an abortion for whatever reason. Yeah. So now I got to go to jail for it. That's quite a stretch.
That is. That's why I'm like, now, you know, I'm going back. But it's like, it's not my decision.
Yeah,
like,
don't put me in jail for it.
And it's too many. That's a situation where if you got all the women to go one way, then I'm like, all right, well, y'all didn't set yourselves up for that. But you got a lot of men making this vote. I'm like, if we don't get pregnant, we don't know what it's like.
Exactly.
We don't get
Not only that, you have old women who probably never became parents or whose vaginas don't even produce kids or eggs or anything.
Yeah, you got that aspect too.
Yeah, but you can be bought in any kind of way. So if they wanted to have a woman's face, be the face of the operation, it's easy to get an old hag to say,
It's
yeah,
kind of funny though that Atlanta did it with all of like I think one of them Atlanta's mayor female, it's like a lot of female political figures now in Atlanta. It's weird that it flew there. Now I get Alabama. I'm not disrespecting Alabama. The chant comes from Alabama, but that's um, Georgia weirded me out. Like they just have a bunch of women.
Yeah, but I think just like a lot of things within our society, people hop on a bandwagon quick. You know, so I think that after they see a lot of the implications, because I think a lot of times when we think it's a good idea, until shit hits the fan, it remains a good idea. So Marcus is making a point about freedom of choice. Yes, give me that choice. But I think at a certain level, you got to cut me off.
Like you said, you don't want abortion to be a birth control.
Right. I don't want it to be a birth control, and you shouldn't be killing these babies that could live on their own, you know, in a few weeks. You definitely shouldn't be doing that. So those late term abortions, that's definitely something different. But, you know, definitely being able to have the choice to do whatever you want with your body. You know, um, who knows? But you get a lot of people who have these babies and they're abandoning the shit out these babies. They're killing these babies. They're doing all of these things. And I'm not saying that the abortion ban will stop that. It won't. Because, you know, maybe I thought all along, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a great mom, I'm gonna do whatever. Then the baby gets here, the father is gone, I can't really afford to pay for anything, you know, whatever circumstance happens, PTSD or post traumatic, postpartum depression and all that kicks in or whatever, and I kill the baby. You know, so I think there's a lot of different things. So I don't think the abortion ban will stop those things from happening. But again, it's about being able to make those choices and decisions for your body, for your child, for whatever that best thing is, best choice or decision is. Because a lot of the states have implemented that safe law where when your child is up to a certain age, you can just take it to a fire department or somewhere safe, a safe haven or whatever, so that they can take care of the baby and no questions are asked. I think in China you can't even have more than two children.
Yeah, it's that one, but then it was the documentary we was watching. It was like I want to say they stopped having people like drop their kids off, and they legit had
like orphanages and stuff like that.
Yeah, but it was like what is it called? It's pretty much like a big mailbox. You legit could like just drop the baby in there, and it would go. It was like a church or something like that. They did a documentary on this old guy, and I can't remember what his name is. No.
But my whole thing is leave some type of information with it. Don't you have a whole bunch of John and Jane Does and shit like that. That's ridiculous. Like, you know, but if they're not going to ask you questions anyway, leave a fucking birth certificate for all the fuck we care. So we can know how old the baby is, because I just dropped it off. We don't know how old it is. We don't know anything. You know what I'm saying? So leave something. I don't know. But anything is better than killing.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I don't know.
I understand.
I don't know.
That's a it's a subject it's too it's so I was reading one article that said something I forget I don't know who it was, but they were saying that the reason that Trump was rocking with it was because he's trying to win 2020. So that's kind of why he went that way. But then they were also saying that the people around it was like we didn't believe in the no the rape and the incest. Like they was like we kind of wanted we didn't think it was going to go do that. So right. I don't know if it's going to come off or how long that's going to take, but that might be something that where they're like, yeah, we kind of wanted it.
And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of times they implement these things without really having it into practice to really see the implications that are coming behind these dumbass decisions that they're making. I mean, I think that person that you mentioned will fucking sign anything.
He will.
Yeah. So I don't even know that he can read right. Y'all laugh at Mayweather. Y'all laugh at R. Kelly. I don't think he can read.
R. Kelly can't read right.
No. He can't read. No.
How about the documentary?
Yeah, so I don't think Dum Dum or Bozo can read right. I really don't. But once they start to see the implications behind a lot of this stuff, I think they want to go back, they want to revise it, they want to retract it, they want to be doing a lot of things because
they have to.
Let one of their daughters have a situation.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, send Becky right on to jail because she should have got that abortion. Send her ass, send Abarca, or whatever her name is. Send her to jail.
Did she get pregnant with that? I'm looking like Warren baby. But okay.
That's his daughter.
Who? Ivanka Trump? No,
that was his daughter. Isn't it a junior, like the daughter?
He got something. I don't know if he has a daughter.
I think it is.
Ivanka Trump.
Oh, it might be. Anyway. So, speaking of children, because all children aren't good. But you talked about
children are victims of their circumstances.
All of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So he said that children are victims of their circumstances. In recent news, Ali's from Garcia's Black Box. Check out Garcia's Black Box Theater on Facebook. That's the best way. If you want to be part of the variety show and showcase any of your artistic talents, make sure you check them out.
Yes, sir. And ma'am.
Yes, indeed. And non-binary folks. Check them out. Yeah. So, because these are circumstances, in recent news, there was a 15 or 16-year-old girl who just pled guilty to murder. She stabbed her own mother 60 times.
That's a crime of passion.
A crime of passion? Mm-hmm. So do you think it had anything to do with her environment?
I do. Okay. But is there any more like to the story, or is that it? And I can draw conclusions from that.
Yeah, you just gotta go from that. Okay. So that's basically what happened. When she was 15, the mother told her she couldn't go somewhere. She stabbed her 60 times. She got arrested and she just pled guilty.
To a degree, I understand where the daughter is coming from, because I've lived in situations where I would have just said the people that I live with. I just understood that that's just not what you do. Because tomorrow's coming, and one day that tomorrow's going to be better than yesterday. Mm-hmm. So I can understand, because now we're talking about like personal situations that I know, so it is what it is. But you can feel like you're living in a prison, living in your own household. Definitely. And not even the fact that, oh, you just can't go outside. No, like legit. You're
deprived of a lot of things.
Your guardian, and I'm going to say, yeah, it can be a parent, it can be whoever. Your guardian is legit the correctional officer, and they busting you on your head every time you turn around, or you're getting like. And my growing up in the household, one of the households that I grew up in, they don't want to. It's.
Miss Young, can you hear?
So okay, can they hear you on this? Or?
Yeah, they can hear you in Radio World.
Oh, all right.
It's Facebook Live. Go ahead.
You legit had like also Jim Crow, I guess Jim Crow, light skin versus dark skin in the household. If you were lighter, you got treated a little bit better. They don't want to say that it was, but eyes that see. Mm-hmm. So you had that on top of like this this my house, I don't give a fuck type thing. It's if you're not strong minded
as a child
or either. Okay. And I'm just gonna speak from the child's perspective because I have yet to be a parent of a 16-year-old child, so I can't speak from that perspective fully. Because I don't know how I'm going to react. I'm like, right, I know I'm not going to be crazy. Or, let me say, my track record doesn't.
Or we be built like a brick house.
I hope she
won't be going crazy.
No, because that's a whole nother, I already, at least I put myself in the mindset that I had whole shit with me. My wife had whole shit. I can't ignore who I was, and my wife can't ignore who she was, because that's who our child is. Mm-hmm. So I already know that.
So hoeing is hereditary.
Yes, it is. Like I mean, look, call it.
Let's order the genetic test to tell me if my baby is gonna be a hoe.
Look,
listen, I need the test.
You gotta be honest with yourself when you have your children. If you're not, you're lying to yourself.
Okay.
So, and because it's funny, because I know a lot of chicks. I knew some chicks that they had their kid, and then when their kid turned 16 and was fucking, they was like, I don't understand what's going on. So how old were you when you were fucking? 15. I can't know that motherfucker. That's what it is. That's what it is. And it's crazy. But so I can't, if my daughter does grow up to be a shit brick house, like my wife isn't like my wife is hippie.
You want to be pulling out your goddamn head. Well, go ahead.
No, maybe. Right now I'm saying no. Mm-hmm. 16 years from now, who knows what I'll be doing. Let's have this conversation 16 years from now. Right. So my wife is hippie, my mom and my sister are breasty. So my daughter could legit be both, whatever. She will. And I have to live with that. Mm-hmm. But that's all I'm gonna let her know off the rip. Like, yo, who do you want? Do the things that you want to be known for. And be okay with being a hoe if you want to be a hoe, but understand that's your struggle. It's not mine. I'm going to be here to always protect you. And I'm going to be here to protect you and love you. You're going to know that your father and your mother care. But I can't live that whole life. I can't live your whole life, because you have to live your whole life if you want to live a whole life. If you want to live a holy life, that's still your life that you had to live. It's not for me. Because once you've had your child and you feel like you've raised your child to whatever the best of your own ability, that's up to them. Legit. I get laughed at right now. Oh, definitely.
Okay. So, Ms. Young, I just want to say congratulations to our number one listener. She has finished school. She's going to move on to law school, doing very big things. So congratulations to you. Super duper proud. Make you proud. She's saying you were referring to the film Dropbox. It was based in South Korea.
Okay, that might be it.
Yeah. So I don't know. So my question that I posed to my Facebook friend when she pled guilty, because I think, yes, a lot of things are circumstantial, and we don't know what was really going on in the house. We don't know what led up to any of these things, because only she is here to tell that story. Mm-hmm. That mother is not here to be able to add anything to it or take anything away. Mm-hmm. So so my question was, because, most recently in a lot of news, we have been hearing about all of these things that these juveniles are doing in reference to breaking laws. We talked about the trend of these boys raping women. We have a case here in Baltimore. There was a case in Delaware. There was a case in Ohio. And they all had similar characteristics to the crime. Mm-hmm. We talked about the squeegee kids. We talked about all these different things that these young people are participating in. Oh, they throwing shit at people's cars. They just being belligerent and ignorant. Yeah, they just getting out of control. Armed robbery is very.
Love to the squeegee boys. I don't even want to squeegee my windows, but I give money, I give food,
right?
Whatever I can give them. I not to take from what you was saying, but those squeegee boys is legit. I don't know what they're doing at night. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what their life is like, but I see them boys out there every day on the corners doing something way more positive than robbing and now who knows what they're doing.
I think a lot of it is situational, but the reason why they're out there is a lot of different things. going on in that whole situation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So, but once they get to the point where they're being violent,
I've never heard of it.
oh yeah, they'll cuss you out.
But my thing is,
spray your windows.
Are we getting both sides of the story in my situation?
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I'm not saying it's all of
it. Yeah, because I don't think I think they come up to the window with good intentions, but I also know people that got road rage and they just don't.
Right, but why do I have to be nice to them if I'm saying no?
No, if you're saying no and they still do, I've never seen that, so I don't know.
Oh, they do that, and then when you say no, thank you, they be like, fuck you, bitch, spray your window anyway, but don't wipe it off.
I've never
yeah.
seen it.
Yeah, they do crazy stuff like that.
No, because I don't.
But anyway, so we're talking about the more criminal things, like that boy. I think his name was Dante Harris. He just got found guilty of murder. Him and his friends were robbing the house, and the police officer comes up with no backup or anything, and he's trying to get away from her, and he runs her over. So, oh my, Allie needs to come outside more. I don't even watch the news, and I know those stories.
Is that what I hear?
Yes, Baltimore. Yes. So, I don't think they sentenced him. But again, in these situations in which these teenagers are committing these adult crimes, I don't necessarily believe that they should be given an adult sentence. Because in actuality, their minds mentally and developmentally are still that of a juvenile. No matter how heinous it is, because again, the things you've learned to control as far as your emotions, as far as your decision making, as far as all of these adult-like things, you didn't get that until well after this. So a lot of people are arguing against me, and they're saying, no, they're old enough to know what they did was wrong.
They may know that it's wrong, but it's still like, what kind of implications do they understand that they're coming across?
Right, the consequences.
They might not realize that their life is almost about to end.
Right.
Because it's, and even if, well, let me not say end, but your life is definitely about to change. Because even if you don't, murder at 16, you might come out at 35, 40. But like,
I'm saying give you a sentence.
You've been indoctrinated by that point. You're a part of the system. Like,
right. Right, because again, we know that the prison system is not built to rehabilitate.
No.
I don't give a fuck what they say.
Not America's anyway.
Exactly. So they don't have the right programming, they don't have the right services, they don't have the right mental health treatment, they don't have a lot of things that should be in place so that if you're going to stick me in this place, at least I can cognitively develop to be okay and not be a piece of shit when I get out. Because prison is detrimental to a lot of people's well-being and their mental health. It just is. Because of the culture that's there.
Even that though, that's why I say with some of these kids, their house might be a prison.
Right. So I'm not in disagreement that she made her kill her mother due to circumstances. I'm not saying that a lot of these kids who are out here doing shit they don't supposed to be doing, like robbing people's houses, weren't doing that out of necessity to be able to feed themselves. I'm not saying that, right? Environment, circumstances, all of that may play a role in it. I agree. I'm not arguing with that. My whole thing is yes, give them a consequence. But do you give them life in prison?
You shouldn't. I agree with that. I don't know what to give them because I don't know what to give them because every situation is different. Mm-hmm. So one thing that I is probably never going to change is because is the generalization. All right, well, you do this is what the sentence is.
Yeah.
And how often do we take a real good look into what the circumstance was? Like, did this person even have a chance in life? You know what I'm saying?
No, because again, the mother is not there to defend herself. Mm-hmm. So the girl can get up there and use that as her defense. Oh, she was beating me. She wasn't feeding me. She was doing whatever. But the mother is not here to defend herself. So I don't know that would actually play in her defense, that she was having a really hard time in the home. Because without any substantiating information, like CPS and all that other kind of stuff, I mean, you're arguing that after the point. So I agree with what you were saying about the whole crime of passion type of thing, because again, nobody knows what was felt at that time, because nobody else was there. I mean, and the other person who was there can't tell her side of the story. So it just amazes me how we are ready to condemn these children for the rest of their lives.
So these African Americans, black, of course. So what and I'm glad. Well, I'm not glad that it's word, but growing up in the household, mental health is something that is very overlooked.
Yeah, it's stigmatized.
It's overlooked in a multitude of fashions. There are people who know, and then there are also people who know that they have a mental illness and don't treat it. And
right, it's a choice.
These people have kids, and it's rough for them. It's legit
so
rough
should we stop our mental health patients from having children?
I think they should get a little bit more supervision. I think there should be more. If you're pro, I guess it's pro life, and you want to care about these kids, if the parent has been, whether before or after, if they have been, I'm not saying that it should, but I think that it should be something done. But if before, after a child, and you already been, diagnosed with a mental illness, you should be checked on. The situation should be checked on.
So mental illness can be something as small as I have depression.
Okay.
Not clinical depression, but I'm just depressed.
Well, I'm saying stuff that's been
like significant. Like if
if you go to a doctor or you go to a psychiatrist or a counselor and they prescribe you if you have this and you need to take medicine or something like that. I'm just trying to be very general. I'm not getting super specific. There should be some kind of check-ins because you have a lot of situations like this where that happens, and you have somewhere where the kid might not kill the parent or kill the guardian, but that still fucks with the kid. You know what I'm saying? The kid is still getting tortured in some way, shape, or form, and it's still bothering them in their life.
Right, but that can be someone who is not diagnosed with anything.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would.
If you're not diagnosed, then what can you do?
I don't know that I would even jump out there and say, "Oh, let's overly supervise parents with mental health," because I think you're going to be infringing on a lot of rights. Because there's people who don't have mental health issues and they still fucking up kids all the time, whether they're sexually abusing them, mentally abusing them, emotionally abusing them.
But wouldn't that be still considered a mental illness?
No, because I didn't get scrutinized because I got high and I sold my food stamps. So if I have like bipolar or whatever, you're going to come to my house a lot more than what you're going to the person who got high and sold their food stamps. Just because I had bipolar.
Well, I think it's a hustle for the person selling the food stamp. It's not really like
it's feeding my addiction. I get high, so I'm gonna sell my food stamps so I can go smoke crack or heroin or whatever.
I thought you were talking about just smoking some weed. I thought you
no, you ain't selling no food stamps. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. That's why.
You're more than likely selling your food stamps to buy crack and heroin. I don't know about weed. I mean, depending on how bad you have it is. I don't know. But Big Taz is saying mental health can fall into people who have low self-esteem. I agree because again, a lot of this stuff. I mean, mental illness it is a big spectrum of things. Those severely mentally ill people, yes. I don't know that you can say, oh, we don't want them to have the option to have children. Or even to overly supervise them. In a lot of situations, just general circumstances will cause them to be overly supervised anyway, because you'll have a difficulty in dealing with everyday things. All right, y'all, Ali thought he was going to be able to escape. He's already been here an hour.
Oh, no, we great. We rocking. I'm with the shit, baby.
So, because the more severe the illness is going to be, they're going to automatically get some extra scrutinization anyway. You know, kids probably get taken away because of the conditions in which they'll have to live with their mental illness. But in those situations, because one thing in a black family, they're quick to say what happens in this house stays in this house, right? So I'm buying your argument of she was a victim of her environment. I'm buying that. And that a lot of times there are a lot of things happening in these homes that we don't know about. There was a lady who lived in our neighborhood who actually, this wasn't even her biological child. She was taking over somebody's child, you know, doing them a favor or whatever. And this girl was a teenager, but this lady, her caretaker, basically starved her over time. The girl was shitting in the walls. She was so malnourished. I think she was 15 and 90 pounds. So she really just fucked this girl up. So eventually the girl dies and she gets a sentence, I think of 30 years. I think she got. So again, that's a grown woman who's neglecting a child and the child dies. This girl is 16. Yes, she stabs her mother 60 times. We all know that stabbings are more emotional than anything. So who knows from anything that's happening, going through her mind in that moment, she probably didn't realize it 60 times. She could be blacked out. Anything could be happening. I don't necessarily believe that this girl deserves a life sentence.
They doing a life sentence?
So she's not sentenced yet.
Oh.
She just pled guilty.
Oh.
So they didn't get to the next stage yet. But a lot of people are saying, yes, give her a life sentence.
With crimes of passion, is different. Because.
So if I killed a side chick, that's a crime of passion. I should get a life sentence.
You should be killing. If a crime of passion, you kind of killing like you would be killing the guy. You wouldn't be killing the girl.
Oh, okay.
Because you don't have that much. At least I would think you have that much anger for the girl, unless she's been a consistent like, or you keep cheating with this bitch type of thing. But I think the crime of passion.
Ali is funny.
the culprit. You know what I'm saying? That's got to be. That's why it's called a crime of passion for a reason, because you were driven to that extreme. Like that's not, you don't get a crime of passion over something big for a year. You know what I'm saying? That's time invested.
I don't know. I might fall in love quick. I mean,
but I don't think you're gonna go through a crime of passion. That takes time. Like, you can fall in love, but to create it, I think, and from the situations that I've heard, a crime of passion is like they've been with this person for years. You know what I'm saying? Like at least a decade.
I'm on this law student. Look up what's a crime of passion.
Yeah, so it has to be something,
right?
Because it's situations. I don't want to talk about my family, my close people, because I love them. But there's situations where I'm like, yo, you're driving someone to a place where you might not like where they go, and this is someone that you love, someone that you say that you care for. Why are you treating them this way? Right. You know what I'm saying? That's not how these things should go. And that crime of passion, I think the crime of passion is a different animal, because you got to look at the situation way more. Because a murder is sometimes a murder is just a murder. This person just got mad because you did that, boom, I just shot him. And it's really kind of cut and dry. But the crimes of passion, that's a build-up. It's you black out. I'm pretty sure you black out 60 stabs. That's a lot of stabs. You know what I'm saying? And so how long does that take? I think somebody was doing a study of that. But they were just stabbing. It's more than a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because you think, 1 per second. No. She might hit you and then just like keep hitting you. And the pace starts picking up and all that. It's just different. It's not a cut and dry situation. So that girl might be going through.
I mean, it's no telling.
All of the things she says.
Exactly. All of the different circumstances. But to me, the most important thing is her underdeveloped mind. You're going to give her an adult sentence. Her mind, her mentality is still that of a juvenile.
She killed her mom.
Yeah.
Like that, and that.
So when I worked in a jail, it was people who had eaten their parents. Like this guy ate his parents.
That's crazy.
Oh God. So I mean, but he was severely mentally ill though. But I just think that a lot of these things need to be taken into consideration. And that juvenile adult thing, it's so many gray areas. There's so many, I mean, that line can be crossed so easily. If they're saying that your mind doesn't even fully develop until you're 26, how can you hold me accountable, even though I did an adult-like thing at 16? I'm just like really on the fence with that.
And she shouldn't get her whole life taken away. There should be some kind of repercussion.
Definitely. Go to jail.
I think her losing her killing her mom is one thing, but I think once she settles in, and she's like, yo, I killed my mom. Like that's a prison sentence all itself.
Yes.
So I don't know if like would she be chastised as a human? Would she be chastised in any other way? Like if she decided to, I don't know, become a pastor. You know what I'm saying? Like
people find God all the time in jail. So you know I mean, you can get online and get
ordained. Let me not even say pastor because that might be like too easy. Because you're right. I think like people can legit.
Yeah, if I wanted to cut through a lot of red tape in my business deals, I'm just gonna become ordained and have a church.
Yeah, and
that's easy.
Church. But so let's go with say she wanted to be a professional fighter. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way she's letting off steam. She still is dealing with the fact that she killed her mom, even though she served her sentence. She's going to live with, especially in the social media day, she's going to live with that forever. Because nobody's going to ever let her live that down. Even when what happened with Mike Tyson one time, this is years past the rape case. Years past the rape case, and somebody brought that shit up again on live TV.
Of course. I mean, Kevin Hart is being chastised for comments he made when he first came. So they're always going to bring up all of these different things. And without a doubt, this is going to be something that she's going to deal with mentally and internally for the rest of her life. So maybe even when she does get a little bit older, she can go back, she can reflect on what has actually happened. But her mind is still that of a 16-year-old. Let's think about all the dumb shit you did when you was 15 and 16. A lot of times these lines are so easy to cross.
You know, if you grow up in a household where there is no repercussions, like and now and I'm sorry if I'm sticking on her case, but she has no repercussions. That person that was giving her repercussions is now gone.
Right.
So just think about in that lifestyle where you just don't even have them, and your mom is still there, your dad is still there. At 16, you off the hook. Your hormones is pumping like crazy.
I mean, it's so many things. And again, we don't know how it was living in this house. We can only assume that her mother was perfect.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to assume that. She adorable.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, June 6th. Mm-hmm. What's going on? Where's that?
June 6th. 401 North Howard Street. It's a variety show, the Garcia's Black Box. This, I guess I'll call it this episode that we're doing is based on love. Like I said, in multiple different facets. I'm not really sure what everybody's going to do, at least as far as the variety of people that we're bringing on. I don't know what they're going to do, but we're doing at least a Shakespeare in the Hood kind of thing. Then I'm doing some songs. I don't think one person is not going to be here, so they're not going to do anything. And then it's just really based on love. Just really come out, have a good time. We're going to have more likely have an open mic at the end, and you can kind of do whatever you want to do. We're legit, just like, I guess we can call it like a freedom space. And you're kind of free to do whatever, because we're supposed to have a burlesque show, a burlesque set that night too, so somebody's going to come and do some burlesque things. If you want to do comedy, you want to get up there and do comedy about your love life. You know what I'm saying? If you want to do, you want to read a section of a book that's got, you want to read what's Lil Zane sex sonnet novel parts or whatever you want to call it. It's just a free space. It's legit a it's going to be fun. And we're doing it right now it's every 6 weeks, and then we're going to end up probably turning it into every 2 months, the third Thursday of every month, every other month.
That's what's up.
So, we're trying to get Queen to come out and speak a little piece.
Y'all listen. Listen, y'all. So Mr. Garcia is old. So it's a lot easier for him to say Queen since my name is Neeuq, which is Queen spelled backwards. So now he has Ali calling me Queen. And I'm like,
but she does have earrings on that say Black Queen.
Yes, I do. But
so Neeuq.
It's definitely Neeuq. Definitely. So so we're going to look at it. We're going to get to, because I actually haven't really told my story out loud. You know, so I'm not an artist in any kind of way.
You are though. You're right.
So
that's art. That's art.
Okay. If you say so, right? But you know, I'm definitely going to come out and support. So how do you buy tickets? Or is it free? No, it's $10.
$10 online, and $8 at the door. So the tickets, if you go to the website and you look at the flyer, there's a link. Simpletix.com. I think it's Garcia's Black Box, June 19th. Don't ask me why that date's like that. It's probably the year, like the month and the year.
Yeah.
But June 19th, it's Simpletix. But just go to the Facebook page, Robert Garcia's Black Box.
Take on Robert.
Garcia's Black Box, and it's all the information is there, or you can just show up and it's $8.
Okay, so it's Garcia's Black Box Theater on Facebook. So it's $10 if you're doing it by credit. It's $8 if you show up at the door. Do the artists have to pay anything? Like if I wanted to get up there? Okay, so if you wanted to just showcase your talent, you could do that for free. And you have an audience that actually came and paid for you, so you can add that to your resume, which would be really good. So check them out, June 6th. I'll be there. And enjoying the arts. So, last thing. All right. So, your little kid is on a bus. They getting bullied. They just are just having a hard time. They hating themselves. They hating getting on the bus. They hate going to school and all of that because this bus ride is treacherous for them. So, you're doing all the things that you can to intervene in a good way. However, one day you just go off, you get on a bus because this 9-year-old is beating Aubrey up and she appreciates kindergarten. So you're mad and you get on a bus and you beat the 9-year-old up.
This is a very weird.
No, this is a real story.
I've never heard.
So this is a real story. The things I talk about, I don't be making these things up, right? Sometimes I can be very entertaining, but this I'm not making up. These are real stories, right? So you mad because this boy is 9 and he beating Aubrey up and she 4, right? So you get on a bus and you beat the little boy up. When I saw the story, I put, because I post on Facebook all day. I put, did she beat his butt like, don't you hit my daughter? Or did she get on there and she like throwing hammers like, the fuck is wrong with you? Why you just act on a 9-year-old, right? So she did the laugh.
She beat him up?
Yeah, she beat him up. She didn't beat his butt. She beat him up. I know that we are very, very protective over our children, right? But I still think that not just the person who got on there and beat the little boy, but the bus driver.
Is this a school? Is this a yellow bus or is this like an MTA bus?
No, a school bus, like a yellow bus.
Yellow bus?
Yeah.
Okay, so
you're the person who did the beating up, though, because Audrey was getting beat up.
My wife worked for a school system, so and one of the stories that she told me, there was kids on the bus fighting. And the bus driver didn't do anything. So I was going to say, if it's I'm not expecting the MTA bus driver to break the fight up. I'm not expecting that. I'm kind of expecting the school bus driver of the yellow bus to break these fights up because to a degree he knows these kids. You kind of picking them up every single day.
Yeah, but a lot of bus drivers are like 100 years old.
I have no idea. When I was coming up, we had a bus driver. We were so cool with him that when he stopped driving us, we took pictures with him to be like, yo, well, no, when we changed schools, we took pictures with him. Like, yo, you was our guy. Like it was 1462. That was our bus. That was right. You know what I'm saying? So I don't.
Yeah, but I don't think bus drivers even get paid enough to be breaking up fights on buses. And some of the buses have those bus aids and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But I don't even know, I don't know, because I'm not a school bus driver, but do they even train them to behave in that situation?
My aunt is one of the aides. I don't know. I haven't asked her. I don't see, my aunt would break up a fight. I know she would. But I don't know.
As a bus driver?
No, as the aide.
Oh.
But even if she was a bus driver, she probably would break it because she just loves kids. She wants kids.
But you're on the bus beating up the 9-year-old.
I'm like, I got it's too many questions for me first. Because, like, that means my daughter had to come home. Like,
she did. So this kindergartner was complaining for some time. Like, now they're hating even to.
It's not going to take. Did they hit her? Were they beating her up the whole time? Or was it like.
Yeah, so this boy was really fucking with this little girl.
He might have some issues.
So Ms. Young is saying, if you ain't old enough for me to whoop your ass, I have nieces and nephews that age who will. Exactly.
And if you have that, then you do that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You don't, the parent shouldn't be going under it. If you have people who are in that age range.
Right.
But I don't.
And so Ms. Young is also saying that they're not allowed to intervene is in their contract. Now, so the problem that I have is the bus driver allows this mother to get on this bus, not even knowing what their intentions were, I'm sure. Because if she like, I'm gonna get on this bus, I'm gonna fuck this little kid up or whatever, then I was like keeping the door closed and I call the police. And you stand outside the bus and you fussing or whatever. Your kid not even getting off, right? Mm-hmm. But if you just got on a bus, I don't know, you just got on a bus and you just like angry and you like, you know, let me get my baby off this bus. I don't know. Because I only act a jackass or a donkey when I had to, right? But it's not with the kids. But if I have to defend my children against the school system for trying to systematically oppress them, then yeah, you're probably going to see my African American side. You probably would.
It's a lot of questions because the bus.
I'm not going to get on no bus and beat up nobody's 9-year-old.
No, that's just too much.
You know, so she should definitely be prosecuted at the full extent of the law because she was out of fucking order for doing that. Yes, your baby was injured, whether it had been physically or mentally, by this whole ordeal. But there was 100 different things that you could have done. Yes, this little boy, suspend his little ass off of the bus, suspend him from school, do a whole bunch of stuff.
Granted that the bus driver can't do anything like to intervene that, which I just think it's baffles me that he can't break up a 9-year-old and a 4-year-old. Like you can't separate them two, or you can't see that.
Because what if, as the bus driver, I'm really I'm aggressive, and then I break up the 9-year-old and a 4-year-old, and I throw the little 9-year-old in the aisle. Okay. You know, because sometimes people overreact.
So and you're right. So my next point would be, who can you report that to? Why can't you report that to somebody? Like, yo, I got this 9-year-old beating this 4-year-old.
He should have, because I'm sure they have incident reports. He should have. It should have been a lot of reporting going on each time you're having issues with controlling this little kid's behavior.
Going back to think about it, when I was also the most yellow bus that I've ever done was probably in high school with Glenburg. And I don't know how many times, and they probably don't, the bus driver gives like checks of like, yo, this is what happens on my bus. Like I had fights, I had this, that, and the third. Because they're just all right, this time I gotta drop these kids off because this is elementary school. Then I gotta go get the middle school kids. Then I gotta drop them off, get the high school kids. So their schedule is probably so tight that they can't even give you a rundown of what's going on.
Right.
So it's I don't know, because it's so many different things, so many things.
I don't know that you should necessarily blame the bus driver.
No, I'm not saying, but the bus driver is the adult on that
If
bus.
they hadn't been reporting that there has been a concern, yes, get him for that. Not for not being able to control his mother who was out of control.
Not that.
But definitely,
he
should have been
for something, because
kick that little boy off the goddamn bus.
If somebody's coming to pick him up, be like, yo, this little boy is beating up kids on his bus. Like, you need to check him, and he needs to tell the school system.
Right.
Like, so what?
So what about the little boy's mother?
I don't know. She probably. I have no idea. You know what I'm saying? Because and then I'm also. I want to know what's going on with the little boy situation, because if he's beating up kids that small, what is he doing to like the kids in his neighborhood? Does he have a sister? What if he has a little sister in the house? And what is he doing to her? Like, it's too many questions. It's just too many questions. And that something that boy's house might need to be checked, because something might be happening to him, and why he's doing this to her. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of that shit is like a chain reaction. So what is happening to him at home that's making him get on the school bus and beat this little girl?
You are definitely really on that kick. I agree. That is a very good point. However, he should have consequences for his actions as well, because you're 9 and you're beating on a little 4-year-old.
And you're also saying that the 16-year-old shouldn't get. Well,
she shouldn't get life,
but like.
Yeah, so I agree.
So mind, you know what I'm
right,
saying?
and so right. So he's 9, but there definitely should be a holistic approach. Mm-hmm. Find out what's going on in his home. Find out if there's some intervention, but make sure there's an appropriate consequence for his behavior. Mm-hmm. Because you are a 9-year-old boy, this is a 4-year-old girl.
And you need there needs to be some kind of reprimanding going on.
Definitely. Not just with the school. He shouldn't be able to drive the bus because inconvenience that motherfucking mother. Because I tell you this, they kick his little ass off the bus and you got to take him to school every day. Oh, you'll be getting his behavior under control because you're about to be real inconvenienced. Because he shouldn't even be able to ride the bus, not this year or next year.
No, he shouldn't be able to.
Bitch, you take your kid to school. Mm-hmm. Because my whole issue as the mother, because I've had a child who was bullied at school. And so not only was I moving to have their children removed from school, I wanted to see the parents, because I want to see the parent that is not doing anything about these children. Now, while you can't control it, let's get in here. We want to talk as adults, because I'm not going to get on your child for bullying my child. But I'm letting you know, get your child under control, because my next thing is having them removed from school. There is an anti-bullying policy. So unless you want to be inconvenienced by taking your kid to another school, get this shit under control. You know, so a lot of times we just be giving the parents an out, but we always have to find healthy ways and better ways to deal with things, especially when we are living in these systems. We just have to. For you to get on that bus and hit a 9-year-old and you're grown, no, she beat up the 9-year-old. So I'm talking about the mother. You're beating up a 9-year-old. But we're saying the same thing when this 9-year-old's beating up your 4-year-old.
Too big.
Yeah, he too big to be hitting on her, and you way too big to be hitting on him. You know what I'm saying? But we were talking about that village. Now she got on a bus and she village, like it takes a village to raise a child. Oh, you probably
No, we didn't talk about that. That's why you said.
Yeah, last week or a couple weeks ago, we talked about the village and how it's non-existent at this point, right? And while corporal punishment won't solve everything, it's not. We know that, because it's immediate gratification, immediate correction to this current behavior. But if that's not consistent, it's not really changing a behavior.
It's still too aligned. It's still growing.
Right.
You got to tell a kid multiple times. Don't.
Exactly.
So it sinks in.
Exactly.
And that's just how kids are raised.
Right, because marketing 101, you got to see it 7 times before you'll actually buy it and pay attention to it. Same thing. So that's what I'm saying. It has to be a consistent thing that's happening before the child is even equating these ass words to this behavior change. So is that you get. So, I was saying, did she get on there and beat his butt? Because I'm like, listen, you 9, like stop hitting this little girl? Well, did she get on there and she just like really just exactly? I mean, it's just crazy. So I'm just like, so. But if you and I, sister and brother, and I see Aubrey acting up, I'm whipping Aubrey ass because as my brother, I'm whipping ass. That's one thing. But a lot of times we don't have those type of relationships. And even still, I want to beat him on a bus anyway, so I just don't know how much we can blame on the bus driver or the school system.
I think how much, but I think everybody should get blamed.
Yeah, I think
how much, yeah, I don't know how much.
Yeah, definitely. I think that again, this bus driver, even though I can't stop the 9-year-old and the 4-year-old from fighting or him fighting on her because I can't intervene, it should still be some type of emergency or exactly something that happened.
When he drops the kids off, so what is this happening before they get to school, or on the way to school, or on the way home?
I think this one was on the way home. This when the mother gets on the bus.
Because I'm thinking,
I don't care which way we going.
Yeah, either way. Because I'm just thinking if it's happening on the way to school, I'm like, all right, when you get to school, there should be someone that gets on the bus and takes a report. Hey, what happened on the bus?
Right.
Because that's why they have those big mirrors and stuff, so they can look back and see what's going on. Like,
definitely. But the issue is because the little girl is not calling her mother on her cell phone, like, Mom, this little 9-year-old boy is doing whatever, and the mother's like, oh, I can't wait because I'll be waiting at the next bus stop. That's not what's happening. The little girl is going home and telling her over a period of time that this is happening. So it should have definitely been that the bus driver has informed the school this is what's happening. So I blame the school. Because how many incidents have been reported of this boy hitting this little girl? Kick his ass off the bus. Take action. Do something. So, but that mother was definitely out of control for getting on that bus and being at that boy.
Especially if this was like a one-off incident, then it's a little different. It's still like the mother OD, like you OD, period. But because this was like, we got a couple of days, maybe a couple of weeks of this happening, that means you have to think about it. So you could legit get caught for almost premeditated?
Definitely.
Something like that. So I'm like, if you thought about that.
Definitely, that was not a crime of passion.
Beating up a 9-year-old. Like, legit, that was your whole process. You was putting on our way to go fight a 9-year-old. I guess because I came up, my bus driver was so cool. I'm on that kick like the bus driver has to have some fault. Because if you're seeing this, like, are you that cold to a 4-year-old girl? Like, is that where you at?
Yeah, and I think that they definitely should be looking into the rules as to what they are and are not allowed to do. That should definitely be something that's revisited because it could be that he's killing this 4-year-old. Because if he hit her the wrong way, he could easily.
And it's a lot of metal. All he does is hit her, like you said, hit her the right way. She falls a certain way. Boom.
Done.
Dead.
Done. And he's 9.
Yeah. And so now that's 2 lives that could be potentially lost. In that
exactly. Because after 7. Exactly. So, because you're an artist, I need you to sing something for me.
I don't sing.
You said you sing and you rap. Okay, well, rap to me then.
Rap to you?
Yeah, do a rap. Something. Rap for me. Come on, you're artist.
I gave him blood, sweat, and tears, as you figured. It's a figure of speech. I write lessons of my life and line them up with these beats. I think I'm neat, but I need your approval. To make it fruitful. It seems unusual, but to me it's crucial. I just want to change things. But they got your mind out there ready for change. Let's vent the machine. I'm sick of my dreams. Waking to get the different things. Every time I open my eyes, I see your vision of things, and then I ask you have time, because you pass through. So come and listen to my life as I rap 2 and hope for 10. You will tell your friends, hey, I got this friend. We got like them. They've all they got, but he got more than the others. He used to band with brothers, but now we stand for brothers. Kind of soon. So you know it's brotherly love at my rap shows. That's a little bit of
okay, that's what's up. Thank you, thank you. So this is Ali. He's one of the artists of Garcia's Black Box. Make sure you're getting your tickets for the show that's coming up on June 6th. They are $10 by credit, $8 by cash, and you can get them at simpletix.com. That's simpletix.com. And just search Garcia Black Box June 1-9 and get your tickets. You can also go to their Facebook page at Garcia's Black Box Theater and follow them. Ali, how do we follow you?
Um, my Facebook, Twitter, and IG are OLLIEVOSO. My website is there. My Facebook page, artist page is Beard of Gold, BEARDOFGOLD. And those are ways you can follow me. Or you can email me at my Gmail, which is aliboso@gmail.com.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So go out and get your tickets.
Yes.
So speaking of tickets, we have a comedy show that's coming up this Saturday. It's going to be the premiere of Jumping Off the Roof Entertainment. You're going to have comedy by Nicole without the E, the Barbie of comedy, Big Head, and we just added a special guest, Real, the comedian. We're all going to be there. It's going to be on Wabash and Garrison, 5070 Wabash Avenue at the studio. So get your tickets. They're only $15. We'll have vendors on site. We'll have food for purchase on site. We're going to also have a after party where you can dance your pain away. So make sure you get your tickets and join us. Check out the event on Jumping Off the Roof Entertainment on Facebook. That's DA, not the roof. Jumping with no G off the roof entertainment. All right, so Ali, let's spend these last few clips like learning a little bit about you. So you just shared a little bit about your artistry. What inspired you to, how did you know that you were even an artist?
I don't know. It kind of just came. Like, I seen how music affected my mom, how it affected my dad, how it affected my grandma. I just seen how powerful music was, like how, like if you ever go to a black church and the black choir started going and you don't get a feeling, like I don't know what's going on. Like you don't gotta be, you ain't gotta be religious to get the feel of gospel when that church choir rocking off. Yeah, I don't know what if that don't get you going, I don't know what's going on. But and I just always wanted to be that. I wanted to be that person that gave people that feeling. So I was just like, how do I do that?
Okay, so one of the things, because I do a lot of interviews with different artists and things like that, and one of the things I always ask them is, do you allow this artistry to change you? From what you just shared, it seems like you're on a more positive note. You're not talking about killing, drug dealing, hoeing, and all that other kind of stuff.
I talk about hoeing.
Right, because listen, y'all, Ali said he was a hoe, his wife was a hoe, and so their daughter,
not saying my wife
genetically.
I'm not going to say my wife was a hoe.
What clear it up for me?
We have a history.
She lived her life.
Yeah,
I mean, it is what it is. So he's saying genetically, his daughter may, I didn't know that hoeing was genetic. I mean, you learn something every day.
I think it is. Hoeing is genetic. It's you. It's your blood. It's going to get you going. It's the juice. And then you give that juice to your child. I'm coming to that realization that
it is what it is. It is what it is. So, okay, so for all of my pregnant listeners and viewers, make sure you ask the doctor to test you for that genetic gene of hoism. Yeah, hoism. You don't want your baby to be stuck with it. I mean, but if you was a hoe, your partner was, you get kind of low. That's right. All right, so do you think that you allow yourself to be changed by your artistry?
I wouldn't say change because I don't ever want to be something I'm not really. I do want to sometimes, and I'll allow myself to maybe speak in a way that's not always me. And it might not be me sometimes when I'm just writing a song or writing a piece. It's not always maybe me specifically. But for the most part, no, I don't allow it to change me because, and what am I doing it for if I want to be somebody else?
Because I think that a lot of times African Americans are so stuck on selling music or doing what is socially happening at the time. So they take on a persona and they lose a lot of who they are and they lose a lot of their artistic ability because you're being just like everybody else because you have to adapt to what's selling.
That's what they want you to believe. But when you look at when you look at a lot of the artists that are uber popular, they're all different. Like every last one of them is something. So Drake isn't Jay Z, DMX isn't Drake, Meek Mill isn't Kendrick Lamar. You know what I'm saying? Schoolboy Q isn't um 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 Absol. You know what I'm saying? They're different people. So if you're in it, be in it, cool, do what you want to do. But if you're in it and you're not actually coming across as you, then you're in it for all the wrong reasons. Because people, regardless of how you want to look at it, people love originality. And nothing new under the sun. But if you're being your genuine self, people are going to gravitate to that more and more consistent than if you're out here trying to be somebody else and be something that you're not. So, and then you also don't want to draw that. Do you want to draw that kind of attention? Also, because if you are talking this gangster, who's going to come to your shows? It's not going to be the family. It's going to be the gangsters. And then some of them going to be like, all right, you got to prove it now.
Exactly. Don't be perpetrating.
Then you end up like 6ix9ine.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's what's up because, like I said, I covered a lot of shows and I talked to a lot of different artists. And when I was seeing them, some of them was so high they couldn't even get a drop right. You know, but they all to me look eerily similar. Hands were hanging off, drunk out your mind, or out your mind, whatever. It's just like the way they moved, it was all the same. And when I asked the same question, what would you tell to a young person coming up trying to make it in music? What would you tell them? They're like, be yourself. Be yourself. You. All y'all look, I mean, it's the same. So who is your authentic self? I don't know.
But I don't know how to answer that question for other artists. I always knew that any human being born is a unique human being. So you legit being your unique self is the most standout thing you could ever do. So like if you ever wanted to stand out, just stand up. You know what I'm saying? Be exactly who you are. And nobody can be that. Nobody can be Neeuq or like Queen. But nobody can be you. Nobody can be Aligoso. Nobody can be Robert Garcia. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Even if your names is, you have first have the same name, y'all still two uniquely different people. Because how you view the world. We can watch 10 movies, same exact time, right next to each other. And what you're going to get from it is completely different from what I get from it. So how do we, and then is your opinion better than mine? No, that's just how you saw the movie and what came from it for you. So, and that's a unique story. So, it's being yourself is probably is the best thing you can do. You know what I'm saying? So, but people do what the fuck want. Everybody,
exactly. And that's exactly what's going to happen. People are going to do exactly what they want to do. So, not only that, they want you to believe that everybody can make it in the industry. So everybody is chasing a dream. And those Jay-Z's and those, it's not common. It's not as common as you like to believe that it is. It's not.
People think it is overnight. You got some people who just walk up to the right person and that's the right person and they're cool. But like that's a Aladdin story. That's some diamond in the rough shit. That's not everybody's story.
Right.
So you have, and it's not. I think people look at it like you can't look at being an artist and being a successful artist and look at it like a hobby. Right. Because it's not a hobby. You'd be surprised. If you gotta figure you're dealing with people. Nobody's doing it all by themselves. And you're dealing with people who are also trying to, or either trying to make money off of their art or making money off of their art. So if this is something that I'm making money off of and making good money off of, you can't be playing.
And understand that this is a business, and people just like they don't connect the two. They're like, I'm an artist, but they don't. This is your business. So come to me. One, you gotta spend money to make money. So come to me correct and just be able to deal business. Don't only have 5 words in your vocabulary plus the things you wrote down and that's it. You know, because it's all going to matter. In the end, it will all matter.
One of the biggest things, have your business in order, that's always important, always important. But the most important thing is, and it's just on the side, so you just being you, just be likable. Right. Well, not be likable. Don't be an asshole. That's right. Because it's hard to be likable. Like, yeah, people just didn't want to like you. Like, just try to be as nice to people as possible. Because
be authentic.
Be that, and be nice. And you
never. But what if I'm an asshole? I don't want to be nice because that's cool. I mean, my best friend is probably one of the pettiest people on the whole entire earth.
And you can be that, but when you get to where you're going, remember that's who you were coming up. So that's your reputation. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you're an asshole. You can be a likable asshole. People would think that call me a likable asshole because I'm an asshole, but I'm like it because I'm legit being myself. Right. Don't be like an asshole just for the sake of being an asshole. Because that's how you're going to get treated when you really get up there with the people who are like, I don't give a fuck about what you got going on. You want to be an asshole? Cool, I'll cut the legs right from under. Right. I'll stall your career. Right. You know what I'm saying? So. And be nice. Be nice to people. Because I walked up to this one dude, and we was on the corner of Saratoga and I forget the other street. And I was going to the studio, and I was talking to this one dude because he liked something I had on my hat. And just regular conversation. I ended up seeing my tailor who did my suit for my wedding. And he was like, oh, what's going on? Oh, I didn't know you knew such and such. He's like the mayor. He's like the brother to the mayor or something like that. He used to he did something with the mayor or something with the city council. Right. Important. He's a guy that could get you someplace. But how he was dressed, I thought he was just some regular bum on the street. I didn't care about that because he knew something about my hat that I didn't know. Right. So I'm like, okay, you're just some guy that knows more about something than I do, so why not sit here and have a conversation with you? Some people would have rolled him off and been like, oh, you fuck on my face, you bum. Right. And I'm like, yeah, you did that. And he'd have been like, okay, if I ever see you in any of these spaces, I promise you. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be it, and I want to thank you for coming out. Thank you for having me. Yes, so go get your tickets, June 6th, Garcia's Black House. Yes, they are. Yes, definitely. So make sure you're watching every Monday night from 7 to 9 p.m. on Facebook Live. Make sure you go and download the WMSK Online Radio app. Make sure you're following us on YouTube. No, they ain't looking at you right now. Get your tickets for that comedy show. There you go. Now they're looking at you. Get your tickets to the comedy show. It's happening this Saturday. Make sure you're checking out. If you have any type of artistry, check out Robert Garcia. He's giving you a platform for free. So make sure you're doing all of the above. So until next week, we'll see you. Here you go.